So welcome everybody to our State of the University address. And oh, I guess I'm supposed to manage the clicker. Okay, gotta get used to the system. So today you will gain a look at the current status of the university. We will share the budget reality in the current state. We will provide updates on critical campus initiatives. We will celebrate our successes. We will look to the future and look to the horizon. At the end of today's presentations, I will pose several questions for us to ponder and talk about during the informal social hour that we're having. And I will encourage you to stay for that social hour. We just need to socialize and have fun together. So I hope we do that, but also ponder the questions that I will put before you about our future. So on to reality. This is a reality that's a bit scary. As we talk about the current status of the university, I ask you to keep this slide and this image in mind. It's pretty scary. This reflects changes in the number of high school students graduating from 2012 to 2032. So we're a little bit past the middle of this enrollment cliff. And you can see that Michigan is projected to have a 17% decline. So that's the reality we're in. That's the reality that we are planning for. So as we look forward, that's one of our realities. Another thing that I find scary is there's a proposal that community college be free. I think you can consider the impact of that on our four-year institution. So that's a little bit scary. And wow, is that loud? Better? Is that good? Too loud? Okay. Okay. So the enrollment cliff, legislative measures that could impact us, competition from our peers. Everybody's trying to seize that enrollment cliff and is trying to address that through programming and other things. And even our flagships in our state have increased their enrollment of freshman classes, which has an impact on us. So these are all things impacting us. And at the same time, there may be some other things that I would view as opportunities. We, I think, have, because of this enrollment cliff in Michigan and in the US, there are potential opportunities with international students. And so that would be an opportunity, but working with international students can be fraught by instability in other countries and things. And I know I've experienced that in my own career. So those are things that are impacting us today. We need to look at these. We need to invest both our money and our time in smart ways because we're facing some hard times ahead. And so I just ask that you keep this in the back of your mind as we go through the day. And finally, by way of introduction, you'll hear many reports. Please listen to where we are now and think and dream about the future. Let's dig in and plan our future together. And so some of the conversation at the end in the informal session will give you an opportunity to participate in that planning. And then we'll take some of the ideas that are generated out of that and bring them back for future discussion.
Good afternoon. Thank you again to everyone for being here, and thank you for whoever responded out there. Oh gosh, this is like talking to a new group of freshmen. Good afternoon. And I knew it, okay. I'm Lori Vetter, and I've been the longtime Director of Financial Aid here at the University of Michigan-Flint and currently serve as the Interim Vice Provost for Enrollment Management and Student Success. When establishing metrics to evaluate institution success, state legislators and the U.S. Department of Education often focus on the quantity and success of first-time, full-time freshman students. While these metrics are very important to us, often they do not tell the story of who our students are and do not account for the large part-time population that we serve here at the University of Michigan-Flint. For example, as demonstrated on this slide, historically, transfer students make up almost half of all new degree-seeking undergrad students. So let's take a look at enrollment. You will see here over my shoulder an overall enrollment decrease over a number of years until the fall of 2022, when we started to see an upturn in our trajectory. And in fall 23, we experienced a 9.38% increase in overall enrollment. This was a significant accomplishment. With continued recruitment strategies, such as the design of a new international recruitment plan, 17 K-12 direct admission pathway programs, and new academic program offerings that align with the market and in areas where students want to seek employment, our numbers are anticipated to remain on a positive trajectory. Now let's talk about retention. Oh, what did I do? Okay, let's talk about retention. This slide demonstrates years 1 through 6 and retention rates of the fall FIDIAC cohorts from 2012 to 2022. The first and second year rates have been relatively stable over a long period of time. However, our 3 to 6 year rates appear to be declining, due in part to the pandemic and students who enroll here at U of M Flint with the sole intent of transferring after a couple of years. The lower enrollment trends experienced over the past 5 to 10 years also impact our retention and graduation rates. Fall 21 retention was the highest since 2015 at just below 77%, followed by just over 76% in the fall of 22. Our fall 23 retention numbers will be available later this fall. To improve on our retention and graduation rates, we're trying to be intentional with our strategies. Purposeful and ongoing communication between enrollment management, academic advisors, and all schools and colleges, along with the implementation of retention plans designed by each school and college, are just a few of those examples. Additionally, greater support services developed in the Student Success Center, including the utilization of success coaches, more deliberate use of data, and work toward more clear and concise policies are ongoing. 6-year graduation rates. We must improve. Our 2 most recent cohorts show a 6-year grad rate of 46.45% in the fall of 16. Followed by fall 17 of just over 44%. This is an area where we have to develop better strategies and be far more purposeful in our efforts. As a campus, we must all strive to continue our momentum on recruitment and retention efforts. This is a must in order for student gains to persist. We must continue to be innovative in our programming, use best practices in our engaged teaching and learning, and build on our student support systems. It takes everyone on this campus to make this happen. Communication and collaboration across units is imperative. And to end on a positive note, while it's still very, very, very early, indicators for new student enrollment for fall 24 are very encouraging. We make no promises, but rest assured that the entire enrollment management team is working diligently to make fall enrollment happen once again. Thank you for all of your efforts put forth for our campus in support of enrollment management and our team, and for being here with us today. Thanks.
So I should always get to go before Lori so you can have the positive news last. There's going to be a couple slides that you've seen before, and it's just important for you to understand how important tuition fees are to us. This year was 76% of our budget. In most years, it's up close to 80% of our budget. It's how we're funded. I think you're aware of this slide too. We've had an enrollment decline. Lori talked about the enrollment going up, which is good, which is great news. But to put it in perspective, it's still not where we were 2 years ago, and certainly not where we were at our peak in 2014. So we obviously have some work to do. So the next slide will be new. I haven't presented before, but people ask me, how did we survive this? I mean, this is a huge decline in enrollment. If you remember, prior to the start of the decline, 2014, we actually were on an uptick in enrollment, and revenue was growing faster than expenses. So we were able to build some carry forward balance. In fact, in 2014, we went into that year with a carry forward equal to about 22% of our budget. So we've been able to live off of that a little bit as it had declined. Recruitment, retention, and graduation funds, money that we got from Ann Arbor, $11 million. It was great. It allowed us to do some things, allowed us to really discount tuition at a higher rate to help with recruiting. Those funds are gone as of June, and we're trying to figure out how to keep those programs going. I put the CARES Act on there. What I probably should have said, COVID impact and the federal response, which was CARES Act. The COVID impact started in the spring, and we had a lot of people who actually didn't want to work. We had furloughs where people were not being paid, they got benefits, but that actually reduced our spending. We also spend about $5 million a year on temp labor for students. They weren't here on campus, they weren't working. They were actually getting some federal CARES Act money instead of working here and getting temp labor. Having that CARES Act money allowed us to kind of replenish the carry forward funds a little bit. And then we've been pushing gift accounts, to plug for Sherry. We've been doing it for a decade, trying to get people to spend gifts. Donors don't give us more money unless we spend what they give us. So we're pushing the use of those gifts first. It actually is going to be something that the University of Michigan system starts pushing. So we're out front on that. Reduction in staffing, which all of you are aware of. The next slide will probably be enlightening to some, but I mean, we went from 1,000 employees in our peak down to 824 employees. And about 70% of our spend is salary and benefits. So if you're going to have a reduction in your budget, that's where you're going to have spending cuts come from. There just aren't enough other things to offset a loss in revenue. So we've made it through this significant decline, but not without cost. What does it now mean to the campus? The immediate thing is replacing the RRG funds that we received, student aid programs, where we won't be able to offer the discount. We have advisors being funded off of that one-time resource. To keep them, we've got to figure out how to fund those. Spend a significant amount of money on marketing. If we don't fund that, the marketing goes away. And enrollment management software. There's other things in there. Those are the things that we spent the most money on. We're going to have some new buildings coming on board, and new buildings, utility costs, insurance costs, maintenance costs. Those are all things that we're going to have to figure out. I have been asked, sometimes, why are we building new buildings? I will tell you, we have too much space. We don't have the right space. So to be able to teach the students, we need to have a different space than what we have currently. We really need to, the University of Michigan, being a part of the University of Michigan sometimes costs us. they do things and then they want us to follow through. And I'm not saying any of these things are bad. It's how do you pay for them? The Go Blue Guarantee is $2 million a year, right now funded by Ann Arbor. Despite what I've been told by many people, Ann Arbor will fund it forever. There is nothing in writing that states that. Donna is working on that. I believe we have funding through fiscal 27. I can tell you that the Dearborn campus is built this into the campus plan to generate gift revenue to support it. Environmental sustainability goals. Love to do that kind of stuff. How do you pay for it? It's expensive. I did an analysis of what it would take to convert all of our vehicles to electric, $4 million. And it's not insignificant. And then a couple of the new ones, there's electronic technology accessibility. You got to do that stuff, but it's not going to be cheap. There'll be positions involved. There'll be software involved. And then building safety and security is a new one, which I actually think we're out on front on. We've put cameras in most buildings, and we've tried to stay out front of that, but now it'll be mandated. It'll be mandated when we build the buildings. It'll be mandated in what we include in our buildings as we renovate, things like that. And I always throw this one in there. You've seen how much we rely on tuition revenue. We've got to figure out other ways to not rely on tuition revenue. That can come through grants, gifts, corporate partnerships, things like that. But we really need to wean ourselves off the general fund a little bit. That's it. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Yenno Candigan, Interim Dean. It's been 4 months serving in this position, and with every interaction I have with each of you, I continue to be proud with the work that you do and your accomplishments, and you're going to hear a number of those from our deans today. I have a few updates on some of the things that we've been working on at the Provost Office. The University Curriculum Committee is charged with designing a resourceful and creative teaching and learning framework, developing a comprehensive strategy to enhance teaching and learning experiences to stimulate enthusiasm for learning among our students in the designated areas of general education program. As part of that charge, a team including UCC faculty across academic units, 3 academic advisors, Vice Provost for Academic Affairs, and the Director of General Education Program have been attending AAC&U's Institute on General Education, Pedagogy, and Assessment virtually since late January. And several of them will be attending the GEPA conference in person in April. They've been making progress with the help of a mentor assigned them through the Institute in refining the Gen Ed program in ways to capture the interest and enthusiasm of today's learners. They're developing an action plan through their work in the Institute that will be presented to UCC in May for endorsement and subsequent planning to engage the campus stakeholders as part of this process. A task force was charged with defining and thinking about operationalizing the Boyer model at the university. Given this charge, the group has been working on a white paper about how the Boyer model can be used across different contexts if desired, such as promotion and tenure and annual performance reviews. In an effort to hear from faculty on its use, they held a virtual faculty forum in mid-February. They have reflected on these discussions and the subsequent survey completed by faculty across academic units to gather more information and incorporated these in a draft paper in March, and will host another faculty forum later in April to discuss this draft. As you know, we have an assurance argument due to Higher Learning Commission by mid-June. Subcommittees are finalizing their drafts on new developments and updates on their respective areas, and we're moving towards editing the overall document. And it's my understanding that we're ahead of the schedule and will have no problem submitting this document by the due date. I would like to thank everybody involved in this process. I know it involves a lot of work. One of the areas of potential concern is the lack of regular program review, which was discontinued. We're working on addressing this. A copy of the draft will be posted on the intranet, and an update on this will be provided to campus soon. Lastly, as you're aware, generative artificial intelligence significantly impacts what we do here, teaching, learning, research, and administrative tasks. There's a range of services and resources already in place that could be utilized currently on our campus. These include information on Gen AI, free access to UMGPT, resources such as generative AI committee report, an AI prompt literacy course, and technology support such as virtual generative AI office hours and workshops to ensure seamless implementation and effective and equitable use of GenAI across campus. In addition to these, ITS and ODE have developed a dedicated website specifically tailored to our campus. The hope is that this site will become a place to showcase the work done on campus related to GenAI. We are already emerging as a leader in the use of AI in a university setting, given the interviews with local and national media and requests for information from various universities as far as Australia. Thank you. All right. Well, good afternoon. I'm Yenir Kendigan, Interim Dean of the School of Management. School of Management started the academic year with a new mission and 2 new programs. As you can see, there is increased emphasis on career development and contribution to regional economic development in this mission. The new programs are Doctor of Business Administration program and Accelerated Online Degree Completion program in General Business. And both programs began with more than expected enrollment, with 18 students in the DBA program and 97 in AODC program. AODC program in particular provides adults with no college degree an opportunity to complete their bachelor's degree and be considered for promotion and enjoy the associated social mobility in their careers. Related to our efforts to prepare our students for their careers, we partnered with Flint and Genesee Chamber of Commerce so that our students will be included in their networking lunches so that they can make the professional connections. During the year, school received 2 important recognitions. Our online DBA degree was ranked #1 in Michigan for 4 years in a row since 2021 and among top 60 in the country by US News and World Report. Separately, our Hagerman Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation has earned 2024 Excellence in Co-Curricular Innovation Award from the US Association of Small Business and Entrepreneurship. This is an organization which is the largest in the world devoted to collegiate level entrepreneurship education. And I hope you will be attending the center's Zealand Solutions event later this afternoon. Looking ahead, the next academic year is going to be a significant one for the School of Management because we are going to be celebrating our 50th. So we are planning a number of activities that can be found on our website, including a business summit where the CEO of Lear Corporation is going to be the keynote speaker. We're offering sponsorship opportunities to area businesses, and we'll be using the funds generated towards a completion scholarship for our undergraduates. In fall 24, as part of our strategic transformation, we are going to have a new program, a 30 credit hour specialized master's program in supply chain management. And this program is expected to increase the international enrollment. The program is designed for individuals interested in pursuing their career in growing supply chain management area, and it's in response to the reshoring of manufacturing in the US. We're hoping that this will contribute to regional economic development throughout the graduates of this program. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jeanette Stein, and I proudly serve as the Interim Dean of the College of Arts, Sciences, and Education. The list of our remarkable accomplishments is long, and I've been given 2 minutes to describe what's going on across 14 different disciplines. So given the time, I will share just a few of our newer initiatives. CASE is home to general education, and our courses enhance students' ability to adapt and thrive in a changing world. Newer Gen Ed certificates use reflective practices that offer all students personally relevant experiences, providing a foundation for lifelong success. CASE academic programs and professional partnerships address critical social needs. In partnership with the Law School Admissions Council, we now offer the Law Ready Certificate, the first in Michigan, a strategic preparation program that opens access to legal careers for underserved students. We are cultivating a new generation of diverse, well-rounded legal professionals who are deeply committed to equity and justice. Our new Bachelor of Science in Special Education addresses the urgent community need created by the Flint water crisis. The number of children requiring special education services in our area has significantly increased. This program prepares educators to assess and support affected children earlier. This program isn't just about inspiring our future educators, it is about healing our community and its future generations. Our partnerships within and beyond our campus foster interdisciplinary and immersive educational experiences that bridge academic inquiry with real-world application. Our history faculty have developed Ireland-themed activities and curriculum throughout the year that will culminate in a trip to Ireland this summer. And they're developing a Cuban-themed program for next year. Other global learning opportunities include courses that allow students to study gender and sexuality in Indonesia at the end of this term and business of the arts in Japan later this semester. CASE connects the Flint campus to our local community as a hub for the arts, including the Riverbanks Art Space. Additionally, hundreds of high school students and their families continue to explore music through our events every year. And we are home to the annual Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival, which brings hundreds of students from several states and millions of dollars to the downtown Flint. Consistent with this theme, faculty and student scholarly activity continues to impact. Activity is increasingly supported through a growing number of external sources. This work addresses a wide range of issues from courtroom bias to learning progressions to the dangers and opportunities of technology. Given the time, I've shared just a tiny snapshot of the innovative work our faculty, staff, and students engage in daily at CASE, and I thank each and every one of them. I'm confident that the best is yet to come.
Good afternoon. I'm Cynthia McCurran, and I'm the Dean of the School of Nursing. Like Jeanette, I have 3 bullet points, and I have to speak quickly. We do a lot of things in the School of Nursing, but I'm just going to share a few exemplars, starting with improving diversity, equity, and inclusion. One of the things that I think we're all aware of is nationally, ethnic and racial minorities and other marginalized groups experience significant health disparities as evidenced by lower quality of care, disproportionate healthcare services, and higher mortality rates. One way we can address this, minority healthcare providers are more likely to practice among underserved populations in a culturally appropriate and sensitive manner and within their own communities. With this in mind, we have educated ourselves in the School of Nursing and launched holistic admissions. With holistic admissions, we can give consideration to applicants who come from varied learning backgrounds that may be disadvantaged and by looking at metrics other than academic metrics. With holistic admissions, there is a balanced consideration given to their experiences, their attributes, as well as their academic performance considered in combination. The emphasis then shifts from determining how successful an applicant will be as a student to the contribution the applicant will make to the profession. I'm very proud to report that in the graduating cohort of April of this year, the largest class of Hispanic nursing students in the history of the University of Michigan Flint will graduate, and there are 7 of them. And anytime you launch holistic admissions, you have to be very intentional about recruitment and retention. One strategy we've been using for recruitment is a solidified partnership with Hamady High School, which has a minority enrollment of 98% of its student body. We have launched a future nurse program with nearly 30 students participating. They have had hands-on experiences, including coming to the White Building and having an experience in the Simulation Center. We see that they will be able to be empowered by these experiences to imagine themselves to become a nurse. I want to give a shout out to Diamond Wilder and the Gear Up program for their collaboration with this project. And with recruitment, we have to think of retention. I'm very proud to announce that we have launched a full-time student success coordinator position. Libby Bell is in that position, and she is building our student success model. Under intentional relationships, one of the things we're doing as a profession, a nursing profession, is being much more intentional about closing the gap between academia and practice and realizing that education must prepare how practice defines practice-ready nurses. With that, I have been working very closely with practice partners at Michigan Medicine.
They have identified advanced practice tracks that are in high demand that they need help from education to develop. So we are working with that to integrate into our DNP degree program. We also have been partnering specifically with McLaren and the University of Michigan Health West for a scholarship program to advance RN to BSN education among their staff nurses. And the governor awarded $56 million for a state initiative to promote ADN and BSN education, partnering four-year degree programs with community colleges. With a request for proposal process used, we were selected by 3 community colleges to be their partners. That's Lansing Community College, Monroe County Community College, and Wayne County Community College. And finally, we have been working very hard to create, and we are finalizing now, an embedded faculty model with a large primary care organization that will allow us to put our students in with embedded faculty in the advanced practice roles to increase and have a better experience for their learning. And finally, the profession of nursing is transforming nursing education, highly needed after 150 years. And we have moved to competency-based education with a formal model and framework that was approved by the entire American Associations of Colleges of Nursing with 876 members to do this transformation in our education. And so the faculty have been working very hard on curriculum mapping and transitioning to the competency-based model. We have a coach from AACN coming to do development with the faculty in May. We also took one of our practice partners to one of the competency-based education workshops hosted by AACN, and that practice partner was from Trinity Health. And we have been working specifically with a practice model with Ascension Genesis, where we launched a dedicated education unit with them this year. So we're practicing what we preach and working with them. And that concludes my update. Thank you very much.
Went backwards. Okay, so I am Shan Parker, the acting dean for the College of Health Sciences, and these are the highlights from CHS. So in the College of Health Sciences, we've concentrated on diverse program offerings and adapting to the evolving healthcare demands. So last fall, CHS introduced 4 new undergraduate programs: exercise science, health information technology, and 2 accelerated pathways, one into our Doctor of Physical Therapy program and the other into our Occupational Therapy Doctorate program. These additions, alongside promising growth in exercise science and HIT enrollments, demonstrate our commitment to innovation and program accessibility. Our accelerated programs streamline education, saving students both time and money. Other notable facts: Healthcare Administration joins our accelerated online degree completion program, offering more flexibility to our students. Our social works integration into the College of Health Sciences has been very notable, with Forbes recognizing the BSW program as one of the nation's best online offerings. Our MS in Health Services Administration launched this academic year, underscoring our dedication to providing tailored academic paths for students' professional growth. Now, there are 2 opportunities that I want to talk to you about in regards to student opportunities. One is that CHS has HEART. Our HEART is our pro bono clinic. It's a collaborative pro bono clinic that serves Flint and Genesee County. It is also a platform for health profession students and faculty from all health professions disciplines to come together to do collaborative practice and education. This particular platform is wonderful for being able to impact health in this particular county. I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, our Move More program team, which consists of PT and nursing faculty and students, received the Interprofessional Education Excellence Award for their remarkable work in collaborative care assisting stroke survivors. So that's great work. that those folks are doing. And Hart has such potential to grow and continue to engage and involve lots of other disciplines. So I want to put that there. Second thing is Earn and Learn. That's our collaboration with the Greater Flint Health Coalition, providing students with paid work and practical experiences, enhancing their employability in the healthcare sector. I have to mention research and then future directions. So this year, CHS has achieved significant success in securing extramural funding, totaling almost $1 million. There are 2 awards from NIH, the National Institutes of Health. Drs. Julie Ma and Dr. Gagana Koshubasheva both received individual awards, and that is really great for our campus as well as our programs, because there's going to be lots of opportunities for students and faculty to collaborate. The nurse anesthesia program has also been awarded a HRSA training grant totaling about $341,000. So future directions for the college. We are looking into the next upcoming academic year with plans to introduce 2 new master's degrees. These programs are expected to significantly bolster our community presence and establish us as key players in critical areas of demand. So, my last point is that our Master of Science in Social Work has been successfully launched and is now accepting applications for its inaugural class in fall of 2024. So these are the highlights from the College of Health Sciences.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Pearson. I'm the Dean of the College of Innovation and Technology, and I'm pleased to share some initiatives from CIT with you today. By embracing the Polytechnic tradition, CIT continues to prepare students to become the workforce of the future by recognizing the importance of aligning degree programs with Michigan's growing new economy. Alignment also means being attentive to industry disruptors like artificial intelligence, smart manufacturing, cybersecurity, and others that are strong influencers on society. These key factors inform the development of our new master's programs in artificial intelligence, software engineering, cybersecurity, smart manufacturing, digital transformation, and others. In total, 7 new graduate programs, including a PhD in computing, was launched during the past year. This has led to over 130 admitted international students for the upcoming year. Another key piece is a bachelor-master pathway where students earn graduate credits while enrolled as an undergraduate, potentially allowing a student to complete up to half of their graduate credits. Simultaneous with the development of new graduate programs is the necessary growth in research and grant funding. Key investments include faculty hires, resources for grant development, and intentional engagement with ORED and OVPR. I'm extremely excited to share that more than $4.5 million in grant funding has been secured, and this represents more than a 7-fold increase for CIT compared to last year. Included in this funding is the first NSF research experience for undergraduate site on the Flint campus. Faculty in CIT and CHS will lead this project in digital accessibility, which ensures individuals with diverse abilities can leverage the advancements in technology, leading to a more inclusive and digital society. Thank you. This has been a very broad overview of CIT.
Good afternoon. I'm Ken Sylvester, Interim Executive Director of the Office of Research and Economic Development, and also Director of the Office of Research. So as a couple of our previous speakers have mentioned, research awards have risen quite substantially this fiscal year so far. There are others that are pending that may raise this total, but we've gone year over year from 1.3 million to 5.4 so far this year. As of the end of February. And when I say research awards, I mean awards that are for conducting research, as opposed to grants that pay for institutional purposes or training grants. School of Nursing has been very successful, built up a tradition of going after those kinds of training grants with HRSA. 2 new institutes have launched this year. The former chancellor launched these institutes to kind of create interdisciplinary space on our campus. The Institute for Society and Technology has brought in many national speakers, increased faculty research support. They've also contributed to new submissions themselves. And the Urban Institute for Racial, Economic, and Environmental Justice was successful in submitting a large NSF application. We still haven't heard back in December. The Urban Institute is busy creating community partnerships for STEM development. The IST has applied to Mellon and also to the National Endowment for Humanities. In economic development, the Office of Economic Development, led by Paula Nass, has led efforts to develop a comprehensive economic development strategy for the Tri-County region, and also was crucial to developing an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with Genesee County, to hire interns from our campus. When those renovations are finished across the street on Saginaw, many of our students will be able to take advantage of those. And in terms of business engagement, our corporate partnerships continue to grow. You heard a little bit about from nursing and CHS, partnerships with Trinity, McLaren, also with regard to CIT, United Wholesale Mortgage, and other corporations, and particularly with Lear Corporation, Consumers, Exalt, Hemlock Semiconductors, MTA, and Auto Owners Insurance. So the future looks bright in terms of sponsored research and business engagement for our campus. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Marilyn Filter. I am the current chair of Faculty Senate Council. And as everyone says, 2 minutes is a short amount of time to talk about this incredible group of faculty that serve our campus and serve the students on our campus. So I'm going to share just a few things here. Yes. This year, it's been 4 years since the current bylaws for any of the governing faculty have been reviewed. So this year there was a task force that reviewed and provided recommendations to the current bylaws. Those now have been reviewed by Faculty Senate Council and will be taken to Faculty Senate at the next meeting on May 10th. One of the things that it's also found that we've done a lot of work as far as transparency in working with the faculty and administration, and we have continued meetings with both the interim chancellor and interim provost. So we're trying to maintain a working relationship with administration, as well as working with the AFT, AAUP as they move forward in their efforts for tenured faculty. We're establishing a relationship to work with them as they move forward. Some of the accomplishments of Faculty Senate Council this year has been that it has been determined that the faculty with 9-month contracts now know when they're going to start and finish their contracts, which has been kind of an interesting thing since the academic year has moved to starting before Labor Day. And as of this fall, for those on 9-month contract, the contract year will start August 20th and will end the following May 19th. And then moving forward from that, there have been negotiations as far as reviewing SPGs, and we've had a lot of discussion about SPGs both on our campus and with the Ann Arbor campus. And one of those concerns was summer pay for faculty, and that is currently under review with the folks, because interestingly enough, that's the only SPG in the entire group that says Ann Arbor campus. All of the rest of the SPGs do not mention one campus versus another. So we are working with that. Another thing that was discovered this year is that there seemed to be a pay discrepancy, that even though 9-month contract employees do receive 12-month worth of payments for the 9 months that they work, they were not receiving their merit nor promotional increases for the months of July and August since this was determined. Through negotiations, it's been determined right now that as of the next academic year in 2024, all governing faculty will receive that merit raise or that promotional increase beginning for the July and August months. It won't come to us this year in July and August. We can expect it probably about October, but you will start getting your pay for those 2 months that you have been working. We've also worked to make sure that all conflict of interest for all administrators has been established, so we know who reports to whom and how this is working throughout our campus. That we continue to work with the flex modality concerns of campus, and very quickly, flex modality is where students have the choice of attending face-to-face, online synchronously or asynchronously at the same time. Faculty concerns is there's no additional compensation for this. So we indeed went to our counterparts, SACMA in Ann Arbor, and have their support to move forward. And now there will be a committee on this campus that will look into the flex modality situation and how this will affect students, because we're all here for our students. Let's see, the last thing I was just going to say is that the program assessment has been a concern. And when I say we've been looking at policies, SPGs, and bylaws, we were able to support the theater department so that their program assessment will be 1 year in length that they will have to look at their program assessment. And so we were able to support our colleagues in all of that. We've had broad representation from our campus on the Ann Arbor campus. I've been proud to serve on the President's Advisory Council this year, as well as being part of the Chancellor Search Committee. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Hi, I'm Laquana Dockery, or Q. I'm representing Staff Council. So Vicky couldn't make it. I know we look alike, but I'm here instead. So I'll actually be under 2 minutes, so you can time me if you want. So Staff Council has just been doing a few things. A lot of them you'll see going into next year. So first off, we've been holding monthly meetings with upper administration, upper leadership, just to really see both how we as Staff Council can really assist them in the things that they're doing and trying to implement throughout the university, but also to share the concerns of staff across the university, right? So Staff Council serves as that liaison. We're kind of doing that work. Also, we've been having, we did a big retreat where we really took the feedback that we were hearing from staff, but also Staff Council is really diverse and just like where we're at, who we work with across all departments. And so really thinking about, we've came up with 3 initiatives to really focus on. A lot of the stuff is like we're in the works of doing certain things. So you might not see it like happening right away, but it's coming specifically around staff health and wellness. So we pour a lot into students. We're really looking at how can we pour back into ourselves, as well as staff engagement and recognition. So some of the stuff you've seen with like awards and just for things, but really how can we recognize staff for all the hard work and labor that they're doing here on this campus? And then also, staff, I tied that in together. So cool. So like I said, you'll see a lot of that moving forward. Some things are in the work. And so that's coming. And then the Sterling Staff Awards. And so we want to thank you, first of all, for submitting a lot of them. We've had like a lot. I've kind of processed them all, but it's okay. So we've just had a lot of those, but really just like, thank you for taking the time to recognize not only like yourselves and your units, but the people you work with, the people you might be collaborating with. It might seem like just a small award, but people are so appreciative of them. And it really sometimes makes their day and even like their semester. And then coming out, you'll see just the staff recognition awards are coming up May 22nd. So look out for those nominations. You got the nominations. Also, thank you for that, but also just be prepared to vote and then attend. So thank you.
Hello, I'm Chris Giordano, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs, and I'll provide a brief update and some highlights in the three areas represented on the slide, which are representative of the various units within Student Affairs. That's sort of how we're structured. We kind of report up through three pillars: student life, DEI, and health and wellness. So in terms of student life, and more specifically student engagement, we've experienced a growth in student engagement throughout campus this past year. We saw a significant increase in student attendance at events, which is very exciting. And we experienced the formation of 22 new student organizations. So that actually represents 27% increase from last year. And overall, there was a 28% increase in campus events hosted at UM Flint. And that was either by a department, a student organization, or someone within the community. In terms of student support, I'll just highlight Wolverine Essentials. That's our student basic needs hub. During the past year, we hired a case manager, Beth Green, to assist with expanded programs and services in Wolverine Essentials, which include enhanced walk-in service hours, enhanced intake processes, and referrals to community resources. We've increased programming and outreach, and we expanded our offerings to include refrigerated items and fresh produce for the first time, and more options in our clothing closet. In terms of campus life, we've consolidated dining services with housing, and this has helped us to implement 2 pilot programs to address greater food access for our students. We have a farmers market voucher program, and if you've noticed over in the White Building parking lot, there's been a food truck over there to provide some different food options for our students in the White Building. We've completed a renovation on the 3rd floor of USEN, new furniture, lighting, upgraded dining area, along with a beautiful new mural in Clint's Cafe. So if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. Our sustainability programs manager, Jaslyn Cathy, has launched a composting pilot in collaboration with Picasso, and we hope to expand these efforts in the upcoming year. In terms of DEI, EOI, Equal Opportunity Initiatives, was awarded 3 new grants totaling $1.2 million over 6 years to support student success, retention, and graduation. With the addition of these 3 grants, UM Flint now houses all 7 KCP programs through the state of Michigan, Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity. And as Dean McCurran had mentioned, the Gear Up program has expanded into Hamady High School in partnership with the School of Nursing. Led by the staff in the Center for Gender and Sexuality, we've made significant progress to increase the number of gender-inclusive restrooms identified on campus. All GI restrooms have updated consistent signage. Listings of GI restrooms, along with lactation rooms and reflection rooms, are now posted on the website. Our overall goal is to have a GI restroom in all campus buildings. So currently, all buildings have one, with the exception of the library, White Building, and UPAV. But plans are underway to either convert existing restrooms or identify alternative options to provide a GI restroom in each of these buildings. And if I have my information correct, once accomplished, we'll be the only campus in the UM system to have done so. You can applaud to that one. Thank you. The ICC continues to provide support throughout campus. I'll just provide 2 examples. The adoption of the Campus Climate Concern Reporting Process, which is a mechanism to address concerns that may create harm to members of our university community based on their social identities, and their role in the development of the Inclusive Teaching Support Toolkit. And the Student Veterans Resource Center continues to be recognized as a gold-level veteran-friendly school through the Michigan Veterans Affairs Agency, and recently was recognized as a Best for Vets college by Military Times. And, oh, okay, sure. Why not? In terms of health and wellness, we've now administered the National College Health Assessment for the second time in 3 years, and we administer this on alternating years now. That's our schedule. One positive increase from this year's results is a 5% increase in students feeling that their health and well-being is a priority on this campus. We've also expanded our MOU with the University Health Services in Ann Arbor to include psychiatric care for UM-Flint students involved with CAPS. And CAPS has significantly increased outreach programming this year. And this includes QPR suicide prevention training, which has trained 120 members of our campus community this past year. In terms of disability and accessibility support services, we've added a sensory room to provide a calming space for students who may feel overstimulated and need a space to self-regulate. And we've offered disability dialogues to provide peer support and discussion for students on a variety of disability-related topics. In terms of recreational services, our usage is up 15%. As compared to last year, we've had many enhancements and upgrades to equipment and space in the rec center. We've added 2 new club sports, tennis and ultimate frisbee. And I've learned that it's really not ultimate frisbee, it's ultimate. So you don't have to say the frisbee. That's a little learning curve for me. That brings our number of club sports up to 9. New programs that have been really popular with our students: yoga on the lawn, Halloween glow Zumba, and swim after dark. And esports has officially transitioned from ITS to recreational services. And with that, I yield the rest of my time to the senator from Grand Blanc. I don't know where you're from.
Well, hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today, and it's also a pleasure to be able to give an update on the affairs of student government and of the student body. For those who don't know, actually, part of the requirements to be student government president is that you are a professional yapper. So this is my way of saying that 2 minutes probably won't cut it, but we're going to do our best. So this year, student government has shown immense commitment to its mission of empowering the student body through advocacy, policy change, and programming in the students' best interests, needs, and welfare. With a focus on advocacy, community, and traditions, this year's administration has thoroughly worked to put the best interests of our collective student body first. Part of our advocacy work has looked like successfully executing our annual State of the Student Address, an event where the president has the honor of updating the student body on the past, present, and future of our government, while also providing students the opportunity to give feedback on various parts of our campus community, such as affordability, infrastructure, DEI, and other topics. Following the event, we focused on a few issues that students were facing, including dining, where we hosted a Dish on Dining roundtable in partnership with HRL, Dining Services, and Hall Council, as well as a forum based on safety on campus, co-hosted by Department of Public Safety, CAPS, and us. Also this year, as a part of our organization's continuous commitment to creating a vibrant campus experience, student government has continued in increasing funding for voluntary student organizations. And I'm very glad to say that this year we are completely out of money in that department. So that was great. Additionally, our members have worked diligently to approve over 20 student organizations. And for the first time in around 3 years, we managed to achieve a full e-board, as well as a very diverse membership of international grad students, transfer students, and a wealth of majors. Yeah, it was a pretty great year for that. Also this year, we continue to play a role in our campus's 3rd annual homecoming weekend, where we co-hosted a Candyland themed dance, as well as incorporating the Kersley Carnival into the weekend's thrills, a tradition held pre-COVID at UM-Flint, where our students created core memories while connecting with the greater Flint community and getting to invite their friends and family to partake in the day's festivities. Also, in the pursuit of creating new traditions, our student body can be proud of SG brought back its first overnight lock-in at the library since the pandemic, alongside our very own Thompson Library staff and Hall Council. With over 100 students in attendance, it was a great success that we can't wait to continue to bring back. Also, this year, we focused on strengthening our relationships with the other 15 public universities and their student governments. As of January, visits have been made to SVSU, GVSU, Western University, and U of M Ann Arbor and CMU. We also hosted tabling for World Mental Health Day in partnership with CAPS and CGE, as well as expanding library hours during finals weeks for students, and serving as a liaison between the students, faculty, staff, and administration through strong presence at and sponsorship of annual university events, including Wellness Week, Inclusive Halloween, and mission panels and fairs, and the MLK ceremony, which also is a tribute to all of you who put together those events. We've also had amazing opportunities this year to connect with alumni through the first student leader reunion in Ann Arbor, and Dancing in the Streets, which was a collaboration with U of M Flint alum and other City of Flint partners. Also this year, we had our first annual retreat for our members off campus, where we went to Camp Kopnaconic and we focused on building relationships, trust, and personal growth with one another to better work for the student body. Additionally, this year, we decided to take a more intentional approach to our marketing. So we started delivering weekly press releases to inform the student body about weekly activities that we are up to, as well as various ways that students can get involved. And this was all through our new Director of Marketing and Communications position. In addition to press releases, we also launched our first few Instagram Lives for our general meetings to grow social media needs for our constituents. And lastly, during November, we made longstanding amendments to our Unified Student Code, often referenced as the bylaws of our government. And these and other essential changes have been revised for over 3 years now, so we were ecstatic to have that pushed through this administration. At the base of all of our projects, initiatives, and financial decisions are service, and we are proud to have gotten to emulate that in our work this year. Thank you.
It is so great to see everybody. This is really nice to see faces in person. I'm Beth Manning, HR Director for the campus, and I'm honored to be that. So I'm going to present, like we only have 2 minutes, right? So I'm going to give you just a little bit of some information. We're working on a ton of things, but some of the highlighted moments that I want to say is we're working on professional development opportunities, and we've really expanded a lot in this area. So we have free, for faculty and staff, we have free services. LinkedIn Learning, Michigan Online, and the organizational learning courses are all free. Those are on our website under professional development under the intranet. Those are designed to develop relevant skills, growing professionally. You know, there are over 20,000 of these learning opportunities. These are videos, articles, podcasts, courses, teach outs, and more. There's a wide variety, so there should be something for you in there. Please don't just pass them up. They are free, 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 free. Did I mention free? So in addition to those, we also have some Flint campus resources. So what we're doing is we're expanding on those. We have about 83 that we plan to offer in the next 2 or 3 years, but some of these are SMART goals, and those are out there right now. Search Advisory Committee training and resource tools, and we're getting good feedback with all of these sessions we're doing. Performance evaluations, and those are not just for managers, those are for staff as well, and faculty, whoever wants to come. And then we recently had about 120 faculty and staff attend a DISC profile group. And that was really, it was kind of designed to have you see the personality that maybe you are, but also in how you conduct yourselves with others, how the interaction, how the connectedness works. And we've got some great feedback from that. And we're going to offer some follow-up sessions for that as well. In addition to that, some of you may have gone to the Foundations of Supervision years ago when we had that. That's transitioned over to Foundation of Leadership now, and we will be offering that in the fall of 2024 and going forward. That is an opportunity for new managers, existing managers, people who aspire to be managers to be part of this session. So it's really going to be very cool. Look out for that. So again, all that information is up on our website under professional development under the intranet. And then I also want to talk about a few things we're doing with onboarding, employee engagement. Oops, and I forgot to do my slide, didn't I? Oh, you did it. Thank you. Just thought of that. So on the onboarding, so what we're doing is we're enhancing the onboarding experience for new faculty and staff. And while much of that focus is going to be on the responsibilities in HR, what we're also doing is we're updating our manager and department specific onboarding checklist. So we're going to be working with the groups there. We're working with our campus partners on best practices to incorporate the necessary training. This would be the business access like Banner, HR RS type of stuff, and pathways, things. And we're working to build a strong foundation to assist in employee engagement and retention. In addition, we started this just now. We started this for staff. We are going to be checking in at 30 days after they hire, and then checking with the supervisor 45 days after they hire. And the idea is that we're working with them to see about that employee engagement and employee retention types of things and how we can both work on both sides. We're going to be starting that, so we'll be working with the Faculty Senate Council in the fall to see how we can do the same thing for faculty. And then we're also working with our partners across everywhere, right? Staff Council, Voices of the Staff, mHealthy, Faculty Senate Council. We're working now, and we will be continuing that work to expand opportunities for employee engagement, employee recognition, and then overall employee wellness on our campus. And that's my 2-minute plus speech. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, good afternoon. I'm Sherry Schrader, and I'm the Vice Chancellor for University Advancement, and I'm happy to report on the University Advancement Office and the new fundraising campaign we are currently in. Thanks. The University of Michigan, all 3 campuses have been planning an impactful, comprehensive campaign for the past 3 years. The campaign will launch publicly in October of this year. The campaign will address relevant issues with demonstrated impact on our community, region, and the state of Michigan. It'll align clearly with Flint priorities, expertise, and our potential. It'll appeal to and it'll engage key stakeholders. And our goal is to inspire donors and prospects to participate with their own personal investment in our campus and invite their peers to join them. During the last campaign, the Victors for Michigan, the University of Michigan Flint raised $57 million from 2014 to 2019. The quiet phase of this new campaign began in July of 2021 when we began counting the gifts. President Ono will host a campaign kickoff weekend on the Ann Arbor campus on October 25th and 26th this fall. We have a tentative plan for our University of Michigan Flint campaign kickoff to follow October 28th with a week of activities. Much planning has already taken place for our campaign. Faculty and staff were invited to a Bold Ideas event, which took place in person and virtually on October 10th of 2023. Following that event, work groups were formed, and they helped to summarize possible campaign initiatives our campus might fundraise for. Many of these ideas align with the strategic transformation. Ideas were presented to the senior leadership team on December 8th of 2023. In addition, over the past 2 academic years, units on campus have been working on specific campaign initiatives for their units. The University Advancement team will be summarizing those goals and priorities and present those to the senior leadership team in the cabinet in the coming weeks. And we will set a campaign goal this summer. It is important to acknowledge the role of development to support the mission and the vision on our campus. What do we want to look like in 10 years? Our work builds partnerships between our donors and the institution in support of the mission and vision of our university. They must be closely aligned. It is really important to acknowledge that development cannot fund every ambition that U of M Flint has in its vision. We need to talk about what might have strong appeal and what might not. I invite you all to be participants in the campaign by helping to build strong relationships with our community, our alumni, and our friends. With your help, we will be successful. Thanks.
Well, I'm the last speaker, so thankfully, but I do have a number of comments to make and territory to cover. So an update on the campus plan. They're still working on the report. We have not received it, but I've had informal conversations with the planning committee, and they will be delivering a report that will say we have at least twice as much space as we need on our campus. And so that presents challenges, opportunities. And so in presenting that plan, we've specifically asked them to, rather than make a specific recommendation about what to do with particular buildings or whatever, but they present some options on what we may do. And so that's how we anticipate the plan coming. And it will come, we believe, at the end of May. So now onto the strategic transformation. And first and foremost, I wanted to say thank you to everyone in this room, because I know that all of you contributed to the planning. We've been talking about the plan for a year and a half, 2 years now. It's been a long time. And there was a lot of work invested into this plan. And I say thank you to all of you, because I know you really contributed heartfelt time and energy into it. And so it's still out there. I can say that the timing of it is a little bit delayed, and we'll get into that. But before I do, I wanted to go on and talk about the 2024 fiscal year. Our Faculty Senate Council asked that I address this, so thank you for the reminder to do that, Faculty Senate Council. And we did, because of the delay in decision-making about the overall plan, I did approach the regents and ask for funding for this year, for fiscal year 2024, because we had things we wanted to roll out, or we had already started to roll out, that we needed funding for. Some of those things that were included in the FY24, so the current fiscal year, included funding for recently initiated programs. And I'm not going to list all the programs, it would take us too long, but I'll give examples. So recently initiated programs such as the BS in Exercise Science, BS in Data Science, the AODC, Bachelor in Business Administration, all received funding, as well as other programs. We also requested funding for expanding programs in really critical areas of community need. So the BS programs in nursing received some funding to help them expand. And then there were new programs being proposed that we either needed funding for to hire faculty sooner than 25, or we needed money to help us plan the programs because we just needed consultants to hire to help us develop those plans. And so there were a variety of programs that fell into that category, including the MS in social work, the MA in clinical counseling psychology, the pre-law certificate, the BS in special education, MS in supply chain management, MS in cybersecurity, and some other programs. Finally, in the FY24 funding, we also asked for an investment in general education, and that provided the funding so we could send faculty to the AAC&U conference and to engage in that process. Also included marketing support, support for international student recruitment, and then finally some GSRA support, because our funding in that area had declined, and we thought that was important to recruitment as well. So those were things included in the FY24 proposal that was funded to the tune of $5 million for the campus. So next slide. So an update on the strategic transformation process. The action on the plan has been delayed until they've identified a chancellor through the chancellor search process. And then I've been pushing to find out more about the timeline for when it would be reviewed and things. And there is a review going on, a financial review of it. And then after that's completed, then I'm told it would go to the regents. And I still don't have a date. So I wish I had more and I could tell you that, but it is still in conversation. But I want to tell you a little bit more about what was included in the proposal that was put forward, because we really included things from all across campus. On the academic program side, there were a number of programs out of the College of Innovation and Technology, such as the MS in Cybersecurity, MS in Digital Transformation, BS in Artificial Intelligence, from the School of Nursing, the Neonatal Nurse Practitioner Program, and Clinical Nurse Leader MSN Program. From the College of Health Sciences, the Master of Social Work and support for the recently started Exercise Science program, as well as some others. School of Management took a little bit different approach. They're doing a lot of updating, and they were given feedback that instead of more general programs, they should have some targeted programs, as I understand it. I'm looking at Jenner for a nod. Okay, I have that right then. And so they'll be reducing some of their more generic degrees and launching programs in specialized areas, including an MS in supply chain management, marketing intelligence, and a BS in management information systems. In case you heard about the development of a BS in special education, a pre-law certificate, along with the expansion of specific programs such as the Master of Public Administration. In addition to these, there is an additional request for funding for general education, so we can support some innovative development in that area, building on the committee that's already going to the conference in April. Finally, there was support for infrastructure to support teaching, because a lot of the programs that will be developed are online, and we wanted to have support for ODE in that process. So that's some information on the academic side of the proposal. If you want to go to, yeah, this slide. We got huge input and did a lot of work this past fall on the student services side of the plan, and examples of things included in the plan. We kind of lumped them into categories under student health and wellness, pathways programming, support for students transitioning to U of M Flint from high school or transfer students, international student recruitment and support, and then career services. In selecting things that would go into this, we considered all of the proposals, and there were many proposals in this area, and we considered them all in terms of how they would help with recruitment, retention, and graduation rates. So that was the lens through which all of these were included and added to the proposal. So that I went through fast. This concludes the formal State of the University address, and I thank you all for attending. Don't leave yet, though. We have scheduled a social hour with informal conversation. And so this is a little bit different format than we've ever used. And I'm going to pose some questions to you now, and they'll also be available through this QR code link. And so that people who are online can join in, or if any of you want to take a photo of the link and give us feedback later, however you want to do it is fine. But I do invite you to stay for the social hour, connect with each other, but also consider the following questions. And I've asked our cabinet members to take notes if they're talking to any of you, so that we can kind of get a record of your thoughts. and these are just some ideas for the future. So the first question, and it would be a compound question, of course, because, you know, I'm a faculty member too. So the first question is about our campus identity. And I have to thank Lena for stimulating this question because she recently asked me about our campus and who we are. And, you know, I've been here 37 years and we've been struggling with that question. And you saw that enrollment cliff and what we're up against. We really need to define this. And so I pose that question for you. Who are we? How is our campus defined? What do we offer students as different from other public campuses in Michigan? I'm going to give you my thoughts on that, but I want your thoughts. And so I give you my thoughts just to stimulate your thinking. Since I've entered this role as interim chancellor, I've done a lot of thinking about that because it certainly impacts everything we do, the strategic transformation, everything else we do. And from my perspective, I think we should embrace the reality of who I think we are and who our students are. Our students come to us because they want a job. They want to get educated so they can go out and get a job. And yes, they may leave us to continue their education, you know, for grad school or something at another institution or our institution. But in the end, they want to be able to be good providers for themselves, for their families. And so in my opinion, my current thinking is we should really embrace that. And so what does it mean to embrace that? If you have different thoughts, that's good. I want to hear them. If you like this thought, we really have to ask ourselves what that means. And so that means looking at our curricula, our various programs and saying, how are we preparing students for that job? I recently called the arts community together, and I've had a conversation with Ben Gatos on this, at least. And the comment was made that you graduate fantastic artists, and bravo to our arts faculty for that. And he said, and this person from the arts leadership out in the community said, but you know, they're great artists, but they don't always know how to make a living at doing art. And so maybe that's an area we can really embrace and do. And that's a good question. So we educate our students. They know the field, but do they know how to translate that into making a living, whatever the field is? And so I think we really need to look at that. And that could have implications for general education too, because I'm out of the health sector. And so I know how to train students in health sector things, but in my reality in the health fields, we have to deal with social determinants of health. We have to be able to communicate with people who may be different than us. We have to understand poverty. We have to be able to understand these other aspects of people's lives and be able to communicate and work with people effectively. That takes a whole skill set that draws on that general education and other parts of their education. And so whatever that is, looking at how to make our students job ready so they can go out and be successful in their life. So that was one question. So the question again was what's our campus identity? And how do we live into that then? The second question I have for you to ponder is what unique opportunities do we have to bring value to the University of Michigan system? Okay, so I'm going down to Ann Arbor and I'm asking for $100 million. Okay? That's a lot of money. Or I'm asking for Go Blue Guaranteed to be continued. That's a lot of money. So there's a lot of asking for money. It's much easier to ask for money when you can say, This is the value that we bring to this system. Okay, when I have to face eye to eye with the regent and have a conversation, being able to articulate that, it is very much so. I'm asking for your help. Help me articulate that. I can say it as the Dean of the College of Health Sciences. That was always on my mind. Do you want to know why we have a PA program? We have a PA program because I was able to connect with Ann Arbor. They saw the value in it, and they helped by providing those clinical rotation spots. It's making ourselves valuable to Ann Arbor as well as to us. With researchers, some of our faculty in the College of Health Sciences got connected with Ann Arbor because I knew we couldn't, at the time, bring in the research funding from NIH and others that would help our faculty do the research they really wanted to do and were capable of doing. Connecting them with Ann Arbor helped them grow skill set. And we gave something to Ann Arbor because we had faculty who had expertise they did not have. And so looking for opportunities where we can help Ann Arbor helps me or whoever the chancellor will be go forward and ask for money and connection. So I'm asking you, what are other ways that we can make ourselves be seen as a value to Ann Arbor? And it could be through curricular things, it could be through research things, other, cultural things from our campus, whatever that is. I ask for your ideas. So that's the second question. And the third is a question I always ask myself, and Rob will appreciate this. How can we get our positive stories out to the public and potential students more than we're doing it now? We're in an era where we really need to recruit students. We need to tell our story. We need to serve our community. And so if you have any additional ideas beyond what we're already doing, I would love to hear those. So those are questions for you to ponder. I would love to have conversation in the next hour on those. But also we have the QR code so that you can provide any input that you have. And I hope that in the coming year, we might have some conversation about these as well. So the information that's shared by you will be recorded and we'll bring it back for discussion. So I thank you for coming today, for participating, and I hope you continue to participate. We have a gathering spot just outside of the Kiva, I guess. And so come join and celebrate together.